Mitsubishi is well known for its off-road capabilities, especially with the Pajero slash Montero that has challenged the Nissan Patrol and Land Cruiser throughout the decades. The first generation looked a lot like the 80 series Land Cruisers. If you thought the Lancer was the only one to get an Evo edition, well, think again, the Pajero had an evolution back in the late 90s. And the third generation was the last Montero we ever saw stateside. So it's been since 2006 since we've seen a Montero in the United States. And I was watching the new Captain America last night. There's actually a Montero Sport in that movie for a brief second, so I nerded out over it. But here we are with Mitsubishi's upcoming lineup. All right, there are quite a few question marks in here. Well, obviously here is the current Outlander with the plug-in hybrid variant of it, probably one of these two. All right, or you could say maybe a little bit more off-roady variant because you see the roof racks here. We are going to get the new Delica stateside. This is the Mitsubishi Leaf. It's going to be a rebadge of the Nissan Leaf. Obviously, I don't know what they're going to call it. All right, this is some new compact crossover to replace the Outlander Sport or maybe even the Eclipse Cross. And then we have two more big SUVs in the back, and we've been waiting to figure out what they are. We haven't had a sniff of what these vehicles could be. And I'm just going to say that they're the new Montero and Montero Sport models. Or you can see they're very boxy in nature. But we have spy shots now coming out from Southern Europe here. Obviously, we don't get this brand in the United States. But we're going to go through these. We're going to see if they actually line up with either of the designs we saw just a second ago. Mitsubishi needs a massive comeback in the United States and globally, honestly, and it could be done on the backs of this SUV. All right, we just got talks yesterday that Nissan is going to be reworking the Camp, Mississippi plant to build the Armada and the QX80 there. There's a chance that this could be built on the same platform as the QX80 and the Armada, but there's a possibility it isn't as well. So just looking at the front end design here, does either of these designs line up? And the answer is no. Because this has a vertical daytime running light partition here and kind of like a bracketed headlight situation. And then this one doesn't line up with it either. However, there could be, you keep this in mind, just how like there's a Patrol and there's an Armada and they're pretty much the same vehicle. And in certain years, they've had slightly different styling. Well, that could happen here with this Mitsubishi. We could have a specific styling for some markets and then a different styling for, like, for example, the Pajero could look slightly different than the Montero, even though underneath they're exact same vehicle. We have two recovery hooks down here at the bottom. That's kind of cool. This is right-hand drive, so Mitsubishi would have to convert it to left-hand drive for the United States market. Running boards here on the side, roof racks as well. And then this angle makes it look not that big. To me, it looks smaller than an Armada. This could still be the full-size Montero, but it's hard to say. With the camouflage, again, it's really tough to say how big this is going to be. And this does have fairly big wheels on here. These are probably at least 20-inch wheels, which is definitely a more street-focused variant of this. So I am going to pull up the Armada / Patrol down below and compare it to what we have above. Well, dang, there are some similarities. I mean, is this the exact same window that we have between the two? There's a possibility. I mean, even the size of the rear glass looks to be the same. However, look at where the roof rails start. They start much further back than what we see on the Armada. Also, the wheel arches are angular here compared to the Armadas. So it's not obviously a strict rebate, even if, I mean, we don't know, again, if this is going to be on the same platform as the Armada / Patrol. But again, there are similarities. But look at the hood line here. Totally different than what we see on the Armada. And it does look similarly sized. I think you guys would agree with that. But there are massive differences between these two designs that makes me wonder if these two are related whatsoever. Mitsubishi, of course, being Nissan's closest partner now that Renault is essentially out of the situation here. Now, it's hard for me to tell, but this could be a solid rear axle here. So let's look at the back of the Armada and the bottom portion and compare the two. I mean, this looks like a solid rear axle, guys. That means more than likely it's not sharing the independent rear of the Armada and the Patrol and the QX80. So I think this is a Mitsubishi design from the ground up. All right. So that's going to raise some questions. Hey, if it's a Mitsubishi platform from the ground up, what are they going to do with powertrain? I mean, Mitsubishi and Nissan share powertrains sometimes. All right. If you look at the Outlander and the upcoming Rogue plug-in hybrid is going to share from, it's essentially a rebadge of the Outlander plug-in hybrid. I don't know. Could they use the 420 horsepower or so twin-turbo V6? Absolutely, they could. Made it to a 9-speed auto. That is a possibility. But it's going to change massively for whatever market it's being sold in. In the United States, there's not going to be a diesel option. I guarantee there'll be a diesel option for other parts of the world, Southeast Asia, Oceania, for example. This vehicle is still not guaranteed to come to the United States. Again, with the styling not really looking like it fits in with this vehicle right here. Again, it could absolutely be just because the lights are different. And again, guys, the lights can change from market to market, just like powertrains, for example. But look at this design piece right here and compare it to this piece over here. So look how vertical this is. It has that roof rack system that we see here. It has this angular design that this vehicle has, and so does this one over here. All right, these vehicles, these two boxy SUVs, the silhouette looks awfully similar to what we see right here. But again, the light design is completely different. Some other facts here. Montero was registered with the US Patent and Trademark Office in February of 2024. They're saying that they could even put a plug-in hybrid from the Outlander in here. That's not going to happen. I don't think so. However, the next gen plug-in hybrid that they put in the Delica, the Delica could use the same platform that this is using. That's a possibility. But again, they could also use Nissan's. I mean, use the Frontier's 3.8 liter V6. I would be fine with that as well. But Mitsubishi's model lineup in the United States absolutely needs this vehicle. And going back to, and going back to this, absolutely, it could be one of these vehicles on the outside with different lights. And Mitsubishi absolutely needs this vehicle in the United States, in my opinion. I don't care the powertrain. They need some freshness. These two vehicles, the Outlander and the Outlander plug-in hybrid, whatever off-road variant they want to make of it, they're fine. They're okay vehicles, but they need more than just that. The rest of their models are old, outdated, and not even competitive. The Delica is going to be awesome. This is a Leaf, and the Leaf right now is just like, well, it's going to be great. It's going to be really efficient, but no EV tax credit when it launches, This needs to help the brand now as a subcompact crossover, and then have some boxy off-road SUVs, body-on-frame SUVs, to carry the distance here. All right, so Mitsubishi, far from dead. They need to make a comeback, though. And their dealers are suffering in the meantime. Speaking of suffering, Volkswagen is shutting down its first major plant in China after 17 years. This is a joint venture with SAIC over there. They used to produce the Passat gasoline and Skoda gasoline models, and they had the capacity of 360,000 cars, but all their plants are being reworked for EVs, and this one just didn't make the cut. So a closing there. Nissan's closing 7 plants globally of their 17, and it is now official. Its Opama plant, very historical plant, is being discontinued. Almost 2,500 people work there. They make the Noara there. They made the Leaf there in the past. So the plant utilization was low as 57%, and you need to be over 80% to make a profit. Foxconn could still come in and use the plant, but Ivan Espinosa, their new CEO, says they're not engaging in any joint ventures or contract manufacturing discussions with any external party. So that makes the Foxconn thing look very unlikely. Here's a quick snapshot of all of Nissan's plants in the United States and globally. All right, so 2 U.S., Canton, Mississippi, Smyrna, Tennessee. You have 2 in Mexico, 2 in South America, 1 in South Africa, 1 in Egypt, 1 in India, 1 in Thailand, with the 1 in Thailand's being closed down, if I remember correctly. You have the 1 in UK as well. The Palma plant that's being closed was opened in 1961 and has a production capacity of 240,000 vehicles. Not anymore, but other facilities such as the Research Center, the Grand Drive, the crash test facility, and the Opama Wharf will remain unaffected and continue operations. The facilities around there are going to still be used, but all the suppliers around there could go under. My guess would be about 3 to 5 times more people employed by suppliers surrounding the area to support this plant are now just without a buyer, essentially. So it's going to be very worrisome for this part of Japan near the Opama plant. But I'm going to end it there. Mitsubishi is not going down without a fight. And you can say Nissan is the same. All right. They're in a fight for their lives right now. They need stellar product. And hopefully the revival of the Montero stateside could really help Mitsubishi out. It's got to have a competitive powertrain. It's got to look awesome, but it looks pretty good. And how much, if any, will it share with the Armada and the Patrol? Who knows? The Armada Patrol is an incredible vehicle, slash QX80. So if it has any of that DNA baked in, great. But it doesn't look like it is based off of the rear axle here. But it could be wrong. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more news here on the channel. Peace.